What's an insult that sounds like a compliment? I love what you're trying to do with your hair. That's nice, dear. Good for you. My grandma used to tell us that if you ever met an ugly baby you should said, "Wow, that is some baby." At least you tried your best. My grandma always says people are good and kind when they get on her nerves. They think she's a sweet old lady, when she's really saying they're good for nothing and kinda stupid. I got it engraved on a mug for her. To my friend, you have cooler friends than I do. Smiley face. Wow. My grandma would love that outfit. What's the stupidest reason you got in trouble in school? For saying my school picture sucked. I had no idea sucked was considered a bad word until I was put in detention for it. Someone made a paper airplane out of scrap paper that had been binned. My name was written on the sheet they used. I got sent out the room and handed a punishment exercise. For using my asthma medication in class. I was told to keep my inhaler in the office, and to use it in there only. I was told it was distracting. Know what else is distracting? The sounds of someone gasping for air and having to be removed from class. Grad school. As in, full-grown adult. One of my patients was a chill guy. We had one of those relaxed relationships. He would fist bump me after treatment was completed. The Dean of Academic Affairs did not like that. Got a 45-minute lecture on doctor-patient relationship and how dare I violate that trust with a fist bump. For hugging a crying classmate in the hall. And that one time I typed the word boobies on the calculator in math class. Stepsiblings, how do you feel about the fact that you're heavily fetishized in porn? And in what ways has it affected your life? Some family friends of ours were step-siblings as teens. They actually started dating in their late 20s. They're both really great and we're all glad to see them together honestly. I went to their wedding, top-tier party. Amusingly enough, a few years after they got married, their parents, in their 60s, divorced, so they're not really step-siblings at all anymore. It has had no affect on my life except that now I'll greet my stepbrother with "What are you doing, stepbro?" and we'll both get a good chuckle out of it. Edit, I'm also a dude. Friends of mine from when I was in high school started dating. They were together for like a year before her dad and his mom started dating. Thankfully for them they were both adults by that time. My friends are still together and have a house together now. Their parents broke up. Every time my stepsister gives me a blowjob now it's all awkward. Thanks, Pornhub. My parent adopted a dog and it tries to hump my leg if that counts. It's had no impact on my life, as my stepbrother hasn't asked to sleep with me fortunately. I went to school with a guy and girl who were stepsiblings and everyone knew they were sleeping together. It was all anyone could talk about when she came up pregnant and it was even more awkward when the baby wasn't her stepbrother's. Grimace. What was the weirdest, most inappropriate or most unexpected thing you were asked during a job interview? What does your father do for work? I was like 24 years old, pretty sure he was seeing how little he could pay me. Lovers, an adult toy accessories shop in the US, hands you an elephant-sized, wiggly-ass dildo and asks you to describe it. You giggle, you lose. I lost. First question of an interview: wait, aren't you the guy who owes me that $1,000? Realized after 3 of the longest seconds in my life that he was joking, but boy that caught me off guard. I had a guy end my interview by asking me what my favorite ABBA song was. I was so caught off guard and honestly kind of creeped out, because I couldn't figure out how he knew that I loved ABBA. I found out later that when he spoke to my references, he asked them to tell him something about me that wasn't on my resume, and my old boss told him that I was a huge ABBA fan. What is something that smells better than as tastes? This is great. I've learned not to drink vanilla extract and gasoline, or bleach. Very informative. When the Mall of America opened, there was a pizza place called Villa Pizza that smelled so good. We stopped and ate there once and it was horrible, literally the most flavorless meal I remember to this day. My cooking apparently. Vanilla extract, baker's chocolate. Soap, specifically the Irish Spring ones. I work in a microbiology lab. There's a bacteria called Pseudomonas aeruginosa that smells like either grapes or taco shells, depending on the strain, person. I haven't tasted it but can assure you it probably smells better than it tastes. What do you have in your possession that a collector would die to get their hands on? A rare picture of Sean Connery signed by Roger Moore. Moore was giving a talk at my university in 2004 and I printed out the picture. He was amused when I explained the Simpsons bit and agreed to sign it for me. A drawing of Peter Pan signed by Mary Martin that says to Mary Martin, my great-grandmother, from Peter Pan. I have an English textbook from early colonial America. I've never gotten it appraised. I'll probably donate it to a museum someday. I have a Monopoly get-out-of-jail-free card, signed by Captain Kangaroo. I have a approximately 10 pounds meteorite in the trunk of my car. If you traveled back in time to 2005, and tell people the future, what would be something that they would not believe? In 2020, banks will not let you inside unless you are wearing a mask. Oil prices will crash and a 4-pack of toilet paper will be worth more than a barrel of crude. Marijuana stores are considered an essential business. Bill Cosby is perhaps the world's most notorious serial rapist. That I'm a time traveler. If you ignore cancer, the Tasmanian devil has no enemies and can live without major fear from all but cars, cancers and humans who aren't really enemies per se. I do believe that honor belongs to the mantis shrimp in Australia. Just watch the video of them punching something. Scary. Quokkas, with the exception of some sadistic tourists, isolated environment. Blue whales are so big they have no enemies or predators. Not even at birth. They probably have parasites, but so does everything else.